Hello malt mates, welcome to the Whisky Bothy, welcome to another whisky review. I'm Ralphie, I'm your host here in this most rustic and traditional of whisky environments. It's the Bothy, and this is the bottle I'm going to be reviewing for you as part of a series of stash bottlings. So while I'm pouring this whisky, I'm going to explain the whole stash thing. So welcome to review number 1135. Just a wee drop. After all, it's quality, not quantity. And whiskies like this, you want them to last. For quite a long time now, when I've been buying whisky, I've been buying at retailers and I've been buying occasionally at auction, looking out for interesting whiskies which in my opinion are not going to remain of the same standard. And with the passage of time, certain brands are going to become less than they used to be. And by and large, I've been proven right, and I'm not bragging about it in so much as I'm just simply observing the facts of the Scotch whisky industry, the way it works, the nature of organisations. And so one of the whiskies that I bought at a retailer in 2010, so that's 16 years ago I bought this, was a Distiller's Edition Talisker. This was distilled in, give me a second, I'll need the box for this, and I'll need my steam bunker. I'm just kind of setting the picture here before I actually review it. This was distilled in 1998 and bottled in 2009, bottled at 45.8%. It is chill filtered, it's got caramel colour in it. However, not too much. And you'll notice with experience that some whiskies successfully resist the imposition of chill filtration more successfully than others. And in this case, I think they basically held back on over chill filtering. I think it's still that generation where they did chill filter, but not brutally so. So what we have is, let me see, I'm just going to figure out the age in this. 2098, so it's a 10/11-year-old whisky. The code on the box, by the way, in case you're going to be looking for it at auction, is TD, which is Talisker Distillery -S /5LX. And I bought this because I anticipated that Talisker would lose some of its edge. And in my opinion it has. There's plenty of Talisker out there, plenty to choose from. You get more or less 101 permutations of non-age statement Talisker. Talisker Storm, Talisker Rui, Talisker, all sorts. And buying a bottle, in my opinion, just an opinion, is hit and miss. Particularly if you know Talisker, particularly if you've been round Talisker for a while, for a good decade or more, you really start to notice the changes. So this was a bottle I bought in the past for the future. The future has arrived. I'm reviewing it for you now, and hopefully in doing so I'm helping to get your mindset into the space where when you come across a really good whisky, you just buy a second bottle, put it in the shelf for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Don't worry about it. If you store it properly, it'll look after itself. Alcohol does that. This is, being a Distiller's Edition, it means it's been double matured, it means it's been finished, and the particular finish on this, as articulated in the back of the box, is a Jerez Amoroso Caskwood, Amoroso fortified wine. So it's really just a style of sherry, essentially, of soft, nutty sherry. The nose is rich, sweetly phenolic, and very raisin. Lots of raisins. There's plum notes in there. There's some dark cherries in there. But in particular, the plum, as in prunes, dried plums, wonderfully rich on the nose. In the background, you've got some lemon oil going on. There's a little bit of lemon and lime, actually. There's a little bit of herbaceousness. Savoury herbs, a touch of mint. We're talking sage, oregano, absolutely. And it's very much integrated here. One important reason for this is that Old Bottle Effect doesn't necessarily need to have a particularly old bottle. When you have a double matured or secondary matured whisky, it will continue to change slightly over time in the bottle. The maturation will not be cask maturation, it's glass conditioning. It is a thing, it does matter, and generally it rounds off and homogenizes and brings in the component flavours of a liquor and just delivers them more holistically and more sympathetically. Taste, neat. Initially, quite a bold, very ashy, sweet and sour note. The sour is prominent. It's that old school sour that you really don't see much in modern Talisker bottlings because there was a fundamental and catastrophic change in wood policy at the producer Diageo a number of years ago when they paid off most of their coopers and replaced them with a factory assembly cask line operation. I'm not going to go into the details. I want to keep this review positive. Let's carry on with positivity. I'm going to add a drop of water to this now. The flavour is kind of a little bit locked up, even after quite a few drams from opening this bottle. It's still relatively closed. It will oxidise beautifully. Handy hint, by the way. See when you buy whisky auction, old whisky auction, once you open the bottle, it tends to oxidise a little bit faster and more beautifully, but it doesn't tend to last as long as contemporary retail bottles. Now I've added a drop of water to this. It's very quickly, not a lot of threading, not a lot of versimetry going on. So this is a sign of the extent of chill filtration that's happened in here. However, to the credit of this bottling, the casks, these Amoroso casks, are good. They're very good. They're really doing a job, and they bond beautifully with the phenolic peated style that is Talisker, with its elemental, dry, savoury notes being rounded off and complemented by the sweet nature and syrupiness, syrupiness of the Amoroso cask. Excuse me, I've got a cup of tea here, by the way. I'm just going to have a sip of tea, because, see, sipping this, I'm heading towards the hiccups. If you're going to make a cup of tea, forget tea bags, malt mates. Buy tea leaves. The best tea leaves you can buy in the UK are Marks and Spencer's Luxury Loose Tea. It's as good as anything from Fortnum and Mason's or Harrods at a third of the price. A little handy hint there. It's not just whiskey in this channel. Let's get back to this Talisker. I'm enjoying this enormously. It's a taste of nostalgia for me. I'll cover this in a bit more detail in my extras coming along, 1135 extras, in which I'll go down the nostalgia road and just how influential it is in determining where our palate is and what we're experiencing. The past has far more influence on the future than we tend to acknowledge, and it dictates where our future palate goes to. The nose settling down. I've added 5 millilitres of water. The sherry's a little more pronounced. That Amoroso sherry, more pronounced now. The Talisker's just settled back a little bit, getting some fruit notes, green notes, gingeriness in there, sage. It's rosemary, sage, parsley and thyme. That's what we're getting, and a little bit barbecued with it. The arrival is turning magical. The arrival is where the casks really bonded with the Talisker. And they both arrive completely in tandem, so you get that glorious, creamy, dense, substantial, sweet and sour duopoly of cask and spirit. Because the spirit's at young enough age that it's still firmly expressing itself. It complements the Amoroso casks beautifully. Just such a shame they had to diminish it with their dreadful chill filtration. But this is why we're buying Ardnamurchan now and not Talisker. This moment in time was really it was whilst Talisker still had its reputation. It was still talked about and discussed in real whisky circles, and that's not happening now. Not a bit of it. This is the kind of whisky in its new versions, contemporary versions, where you get much more of a shorthand generic experience, which unfortunately is getting sweeter and sweeter as the corporation tries to re-gear and recalibrate its product to the palate of the young consumer, which has been developed on Monster Energy drink, super soaked sweet ice creams and Haribo jelly sweets. Okay, I'm not going to go any further than that. Let's sum up with this Talisker. There's a chocolatey, coffee, complex mocha note. It's mocha and peat. It's expressive, intense and delicate simultaneously. It's really, really nice. I'm enjoying this. It's wonderful experience if you're a whisky fan, that you bought a bottle 10 or 15, 20 years ago, you finally get round to opening it and you realised why you bought it in the first place. Because your judgment has been affirmed and endorsed by the experience, because you got it right. We can all do this. I recommend just a few years experience under your belt before you go for serious stashing. But remember, the stashing, it's not investment grade whisky for money. It's investment grade whisky for quality. Quality, because whisky is made for drinking. That is the primary fundamental purpose. If occasionally we can flip a whisky for cash and get a good return, that's just a lucky bonus, nothing more. But I assure you, you're hearing absolutely nothing from people who spend thousands and thousands and thousands of the last 10 years on investment grade whisky, and they're looking at what they've got, wondering if they're ever going to get their money back. I got my money back in this because I bought it to drink. I'm drinking it. I'm absolutely loving it. Furthermore, I'm enjoying sharing it with you. Last taste. a dense peat infused prune juice, plum juice, sweet and sour, excellent quality cask, delivering good complexity, a little bit clipped in the finish. It's just a little bit tanninic in the finish because they chill filtered it, didn't they? And they're never going to change their minds because corporations can't change their minds. They want to spend loads of money trying to change us. But take it from me, malt mates, we don't change a thing. We trust our own judgment. Let's give this a mark. A good robust 84 out of 100. And added to this, it's a blast from the past. You can't walk into a shop and buy this now. This is a 1998 distilled. It's a 20th century distilled Talisker. And now I've opened that bottle, I can keep that bottle going for the next 10 years. And it increasingly becomes more vintage as the bottle goes down. I'll monitor it carefully. If it over-oxidizes and starts to flatten out, sure, I know what to do. Finish the bottle, share it with friends, mission accomplished. The joy of the journey is in making the journey. And the stage gets set that we start with the whiskey, but then we get beyond the whiskey a little bit. And we personalise and singularise the journey to make it ours. And that's the way I'm going to start. That's the way I'm going to start my next review, number 1135 extras, starting with my history with Talisker. I'll see you there, malt mates. Bye-bye.